What's up, guys? Welcome to the defensive FPR video. If you're watching this one, you've probably watched some of the other ones. Just going to walk through our fair play rules about the defense, just to kind of show you behind the scenes of what we're thinking. Not all rules are black and white. There's definitely some gray area. We just want to make sure that you understand the motive behind why we have certain rules. So, just as the offense, if you haven't watched that video, you should go back and watch that video. The defense starts off very much the same. Owners are expected to mix up their play calling, different formations and sets and plays. Mix it up as much as you possibly can while at the same time still playing your style. If you can do these next two things, then most of the other rules will not bother you because you will be doing them. They will be encompassed in these two rules. And these aren't really rules, these are mainly guides. And that is, number one, don't do anything excessively. Excessive here is anything close to half of your total defensive plays. This includes don't play too much man, don't play too much zone, don't play too much blitz, don't play the exact same defense on third down too many times, and don't call that one money blitz that you have too many times. Just mix it up. The things that we see pretty often that don't get mixed up is going to be, number one, cover 2 zone defense, and it's many variations and forms. Guys usually lean on that very heavily, and so they don't mix that up, or they only run that as a zone defense, or they only run that play exclusively every play in the red zone. Again, don't do anything excessively and you will be just fine. The next thing is run the play that you called. It's not sketch up your own play. It's not call a man defense and then put all of your linebackers in zone every time. That is not what this is about. Play the play where it's designed to go. Just like on offense, you're allowed to cut back from time to time if the play's blown up. If you are playing a certain type of defense and you know a certain type of play is coming, if you know that in this situation they're probably going to run a tight end outpost to the numbers, you're allowed to go and cover that area. If you know they're attacking the middle a lot, then you're allowed to cover that area. What we don't want to see is you getting a 95 speed middle linebacker and manually covering sideline to sideline the entire variety of the field with one player. If your guy is called to cover a middle zone, then cover a middle zone. Don't be 50 yards down the field covering the middle of the field. Don't be all the way to the right or the left sidelines. You've got players that are going to be over there. It doesn't mean you can't do that from time to time. Again, if you know a specific play is coming, you're not forced to be hurt by that play. If you know it's coming, go stop it. Just don't want to see a majority of the time somebody using one player to cover 99% of the field in a very unrealistic way. Because what will happen is if you play a safety and you're covering everything 10 yards below and you're hitting runs and you're stopping runs and sideline to sideline, well, the only way to beat that is start running verticals. Well, guess what we try to ban here? Not allow you to run all the time on offense is verticals. And so you're using the rules as an advantage on defense, and we don't want that. Cover the area that you're supposed to cover. If you're in man defense, then that player that you're controlling should go cover the man he's supposed to cover, period. And if you know a play is going to a certain player, then you need to play as that player that's covering the guy that you know it's going to. That's how it's supposed to be played here. So if you follow those two rules, run the defensive play where it's supposed to go, don't do anything excessively, then you're going to be fine 85% of the time. The other thing is, just like with offense, keep thirst to a minimum. Don't start bending the rules and finding your way into gray areas in a big game, a playoff game, a game to take the lead in a division. Don't do that. There's going to be another drive, another play, another season There'll always be another something that's going on. You'll have another opportunity. There's no reason to act a certain way in a big game. The number one rule on defense is the same on offense. No switch league. That means when the ball's in the air, you're not allowed to switch. You are allowed to play as your one guy, though, and cover an area and make plays, so you can do that. Play calling, coach suggestion is banned, just like on offense. Learn your playbook. Learn how to call plays and do that. Don't let the game do that for you. That's not the type of league that we are. No more than 3 hot routes or 1 audible per play. It's not sketch up your own defensive play whenever you get to the line. Excessive use of show blitz. Don't stick 8, 11, 10 in the box every single play. All right, mix that up just like the other rule. You must rush at least 3 defensive players every play minimum. 3 guys have to go after the quarterback minimum every play. You may never take a player who's rushing the quarterback. So if a player on the defensive line or a linebacker is supposed to rush the quarterback and now move them into zone. If it's a zone blitz and the defensive line is supposed to play a zone, that's fine. Outside of that, they need to go and run the play that's designed to play. Again, going back to the first rule that we talked about. Excessive use of any one type of coverage, man, zone, or blitz. Blitzing every single first down and then playing zone every single third down is not strategic. Mix it up. Try different things. Do different things. Don't put yourself in a place where you're going to get hurt on defense, but we do expect you to mix it up. If it is second and long, third and long, you earn that with a sack, you earn that with a big play on defense. Yes, play zone, all right, if that's what you want to play. But don't play 90% zone. Don't play 60% zone. Don't play 60% blitz. Mix it up. Play some man, play some zone, play some blitz. If you're not a blitzer, then run 50 zone, 50 blitz, 50 man. I don't care. Just mix it up. That is the key. Mix it up. A base defense of 4-3 or 3-4 must be used 50% of the time. All right, when the game allows big leads, stuff like that, you can play nickel and dime. The rule of thumb is you can have one more DB than they do receiver, but that's not for a base. So if they come out and base 2 wide receivers, they're playing a base offense, you're expected to run a base defense. But if it's 2nd and 15 and they come out in 2 receivers, well, yeah, you've earned a right to be in a nickel defense if that's what you want to play. I just don't want to see a guy playing only nickel, only quarter, only dime. That's not a base defense. I think that's pretty easy to understand. You can use 4-6, 4-8, 5-2, all those other ones. But a base defense, just like on offense, a pro set should be used. Just like on defense, a 4-3 or 3-4 needs to be used. Man, zone, or blitz may be used 50% of the game to fit your team style. If you have a zone team, a man team, a blitzing team, you can do that up to 50%, but no more of that. You need to really mix it up. These are not hard set numbers, but again, we're expecting you to mix this up as much as possible. The above rule is not in effect when inside the 5-yard line, inside the 2 minutes of each half. In those situations, you can run what's called if you don't feel like running a man defense inside the 2 or inside the 5, I should say, then you don't have to. If you don't feel like running a zone, then you don't have to. If you don't feel like blitzing, you don't have to. All right, just looking for guys to play strategic and to mix it up. The use of run commit can be used in any 2-yard or less situation. It's banned any other time. So if it's more than 2 yards, you cannot use the run commit. Pre-snap movements. Defensive line, no manual movement. You cannot move a single defensive lineman. You can only use the line shifts, left, right, pinch, spread. That's it. And that shouldn't be done every single play. Again, going back to the majority rule, mix that up. Linebackers, manual movement is inside the box, the linebacker box. You cannot move to the line of scrimmage. You cannot put them inside of a gap between 2 defensive linemen. That tricks the AI. That's not what we're looking to do. But if you want to move your linebacker a little to the left in the middle, like if it's a middle linebacker, a little to the left, a little to the right, if you want to move an outside linebacker a little more in or a little more out to cover the tight end or something like that, or an out toss that you think is coming, you can do that. Just keep it realistic. Safeties and cornerbacks, you can move them up to, safeties can move up to the box. If they're outside the box, they can move up to the line of scrimmage if they're outside of the hashes. You're allowed to move one guy pre-snap. That does not count the line shifts, so line shifts do not count towards that, but you cannot move your safety up and move your linebacker back and move your cornerback over. You can't do that. You can only move one guy manually, and you must play as that one guy until the ball is snapped. So if you move a safety up, you got to stay the safety until the ball is snapped. If you move a cornerback over, you got to play the cornerback until the ball is snapped. If you move a linebacker over a couple steps, back a couple steps, you got to stay as that linebacker until the ball is snapped. After the ball is snapped, you can then switch. Special teams, there is no pre-snap movement. You can only move after the snap of the ball. So that is it for defensive gameplay. The next one is going to be player management and league management, and you can click that video and watch. Thanks for tuning in.
You make